This is your host, Seraj, and I have a treat waiting for you guys tonight, all you Revolters. I want to start off by saying I hope you have a conspiracy-filled 2018. A lot of crazy stuff happened in 2017, but I think we can top that. With that said, I want to give a shout out to our man behind the magic, the wizard behind the Oz, Euthymos Lamos, whatever his name is, that guy. He's a pretty cool DJ. You can check out his DJ set at his Facebook page, and it'll have a lot of cool, wacky radio sound effects. It's pretty much it sounds pretty much like a Kiss FM DJ set, like something you'd hear just dad rock. He was just playing dad rock at Moon Tribe, a set full of dad rock. There was AC/DC, there was that one Beastie Boys song, just that one, you know which one I'm talking about. Just a dad rock filled Moon Tribe set. That was Tim's. And we have some special guests coming. We have your boy J-Dog on the keyboards. J-Flip. Oh, that's my phone. Oh, shut the fuck up, phone. Whatever, dude. Well, last time there was like a power saw going off in the background. Excuse me. Okay. Speaking of which, where's our power saw man? We need someone sawing shit in the background. You know, yeah, it's a tradition. It adds a real ambient sound effect. We're talking Atlantis tonight, guys. We're gonna be talking about cities underwater. We're going to be talking about Antarctica. We're going to be talking about Antarctica. We're going to be talking about, dude, Atlantis. See, everyone talks about the technology they have, but no one talks about Atlantis parties. What kind of music were they listening to? I don't know. If anyone knows any info, feel free to write letters to Jeremy Rascal. Just write random letters. Okay, someone let Taylor in. I think that's him ringing. Okay, that guy sucks, but he's gonna be your host, so you can yell at him for interrupting. Antarctica, guys. It's been on my mind. You know, because who doesn't think about Antarctica every day? He's not gonna say on the live stream. And oh my God, this is a mess. Taylor, you guys yell at Taylor when he comes. But you digging those scary tones? If someone lets Taylor in, we have to stop the scary tones. What kind of conspiracy show is this without scary tones? How am I gonna scare people into watching this? Just give me a tone. Not the tone. I don't know how good you are at scary tones yet. That's a little spooky. Okay, that's scarier. Okay, Antarctica, guys. You know, like any person on my day-to-day life, I'm thinking about going to work. I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner. I'm thinking about Antarctica. I'm thinking about the bills. And so, you know, I just want to know why Antarctica is just such a place that's on the mind of everyone so often these days. And I came across this thing on Reddit. It's a thread, and it was called Antarctica, the most peaceful place on Earth. Dun dun dun. Or is it? So, we've had a couple of pilots in the past, you know, way back in the day, post World War II, World War I-ish. I need to remember the guy's name. Pilot, that's Antarctica. Anyways, this dude went over Antarctica. He said there's a lot, it's a land of like untapped resources, and it's really important that we think of strategic ways to go about exploring that area in a communal fashion because he didn't want it to be like this rat race once people went to, let's see, pilots, the British Antarctic Survey. Okay. It was, hey, assistant man, you look up the guy, the pilot, the World War pilot that went over Antarctica to survey it. Okay, so we got one of our technical men doing that. Anyways, he says it's this crazy place, and it's worth exploring, because there's a lot of shit that could, be used. Chocolates? Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'm talking about Antarctica. This is serious business. It's just, okay. Anyways. 1935. So this is in 1935. What was his name? Some guy like that. It was him or the guy after it or something. It was something. Anyways. Essentially what ended up happening with Antarctica is all the world's governments agreed, or the South Pole, they all agreed that this land can't be explored. So if you ever try exploring it, you're met with, armed guards saying like, yo, don't go there. And people are like, oh, why? Flat earthers will say it's because the earth, get the fuck out of get out of here, you'll have your time, get the fuck out of here. Anyways, so serious business, we don't have time to diddly daddle. The revolution won't be stopped by people trying to get in front of the live stream. The power of the stream is the power of the revolution stream. A revolutionary stream, when he's letting his stream out, is too powerful to be held back. Anyways, I wasn't talking about pee. So, it's quick. Cue kooky sound effect. Whoop, 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 whoop. I don't know. If we had like a slide whistle or something, a bell. Okay, so. Yeah, we'll get some kooky sound effects. Anyways, so why is Antarctica like a not explored place? And there's some good theories, and it's like so corporations don't fuck it up. It's a sensitive area, so it makes sense not to let any people there. But flat earthers will be like, nah, because that's where the Earth's giant ice wall is, and beyond that's the whatever's beyond the flat Earth, and they don't want you to know. And so I was talking about today, someone suggested I talk about flat earthers, right? Like, what's the deal with that? The flat Earth was so 1200s, bro, right? Okay, listen, man.
Actually, 1400s.
No, 1400s is when it changed. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Flat Earth was like 1200s back then, Get the fuck out of here, bro. Anyways, dude. Okay, cut his mic. Okay. Anyways. So, flat earthers, man. I don't get them. This is what all the cool kids are saying. Like, what are they? Why are they doing what they do? Listen, man, I'm not a flat Earth supporter, but I'm a flat Earth sympathizer. I understand not trusting structures. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson's kind of a douche, man. Like, he's just kind of a douche. Like, he knows about aliens, bro. He knows. Like, half the people I know have seen a UFO. Fuck, Neil deGrasse Tyson spends all his time staring at the stars. He's seen fucking UFOs. Why won't he just spill the beans, man? People are hungry. We want some beans. Yeah, so, but so I understand not trusting NASA and all of them about that. Well, yeah, dude, they're shady fucks. Okay, they're shady, but here's the thing. Okay, I will say this, and this is the thing that I rant about a lot of Okay, I write about a lot of conspiracies, in case you can't tell, right? A lot, right? But the one thing I'll always get flack for saying the most, is I think NASA's a waste of money, dude. Like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we have enough problems on Earth. B, you know what? We have my lovely assistant here. This will be a great time to introduce one of my guest co-hosts. Prepare to step into the Xander zone with Xander Cage 2.0. No, we don't need creepy tones right now. Okay, so we'll have some. No, I'm doing no. Back off. Cut his mic.
How many books have you read on the subject?
Yeah, how many books have you read on making creepy tones?
No, dude. How much has Xander's experience in the field?
Oh, okay, so we're talking about NASA, and we're talking about flat Earth, so it was natural to bring Xander in, because he's listened to at least 3 podcasts. That's it. I don't know on what. I think one of them was like on dating. Yeah, it was a good one.
Hello?
Okay, then
I got a mic now.
What a lovely microphone voice, if I will say so myself.
Definitely not too high pitched.
So this
at all.
is the Xander zone. Okay, so I was just talking about how NASA is a waste of money.
I think the first... I have a mic too, but I appreciate the gesture. First and foremost, it gives us inspiration. It's like we have something beyond.
Well, let me cut the mic. So Xander was giving me a glare when I said NASA's a waste of money. So I was like, bring that bitch in right here. He's going to step into the arena, and I'm going to fuck him till he loves me.
Exactly. This is what
Quote
the show's
unquote
all
Mike
about.
Tyson. All right. So Xander, why is NASA a waste of money?
NASA is a waste of money because they spend too much money on rocket fuel, primarily. But if we were to start focusing on some sort of engine that wasn't completely combustion-based, I think we could save a lot of money in the long term. But I think looking just at the stars, looking beyond what we have here, gives us a lot of inspiration. The state can do a lot of harm, but it can do a few things that corporations can't really do. I mean, that's why we have like Musk racing around with SpaceX, doing all sorts of ridiculous things.
All right, I'm going to cut him short for a second. We'll go back to the basic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Should NASA exist, yes or no?
Yes.
And then, yes.
Because
so that's where I disagree, and we're going to hear why he says NASA should exist, and then we'll hear my side. Go.
Because I think it's something that the private enterprise could never do, but as a state entity, it's something we can definitely do. It gives us inspiration.
Do what?
Go do space exploration.
Do space exploration.
Do space exploration. Get off the planet, check out the moon, send Voyager ships, find out what else is out there, keep an eye on asteroids and comets. The dangers that plague us that we'll get into when we talk about ancient civilizations, the resets that happen. They only spend $50 million on that, though. It's a small part of their budget. I think they should spend a lot more on that.
Okay, so he's brought up some good points. Here's why I'm going to convince you NASA's bullshit. All right. Yes. Perfect. You're getting good job. Someone give him a treat. Okay, so shut up now. Listen, we've been paying for NASA for a long time, right? We've been paying their stuff. What was the point of it, right? They were supposed to help us explore space, and they were supposed to in some way help us establish communication with extraterrestrial intelligence. That was like the idea behind NASA in some capacity, I would say, right? Okay, we've had them forever, still haven't gone back to the moon. No one's in space. No one gets to go to space yet. I say all the cool things that NASA was supposed to do is being done by private corporations, and they're doing more for us faster than NASA ever could. I think Tesla is leading the way of that. I think he's not Tesla dude, but Elon Musk. He's a good example of that. I think corporations have a much bigger incentive to harvest asteroids and bring those minerals back and all that stuff. And so the thing is, so then what's the other benefit of NASA? Well, rocket technology, they're helping us technologically. Bullshit. They aren't doing shit but holding their dicks and airbrushing aliens out of pictures. All the significant advances to rocket technology are done in the military. They've always been done in the military. They haven't been done in NASA. All advances to rocket propulsion are done there. That's where our biggest budget is. The military's already doing most of the stuff NASA was supposed to do, but the thing is, the military can't show you half the stuff they're doing, so they have to have this dog and pony show. Is that an expression? Dog and pony show called NASA, where every now and then they shoot a rocket into the air and it does absolutely nothing, doesn't go back to the moon, doesn't see aliens.
Bring us Tempur-Pedic mattresses.
Okay, that's pretty chill. Tempur-Pedic mattresses. He brings up a good point. If they could so NASA should just focus on what they're good at. Make some fucking mattresses, bro. Make some NASA. If you're watching this, which I know you are, let's get some mattresses.
Fucking more mattress tech.
Yeah, mattress tech. Everyone will want it. The Chinese, the military, Uganda.
Back problems are plaguing the world.
VR. Are we living in a simulation? More on that later. Okay, this guy. All right, so now we're going to talk about Atlantis.
Plato.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, Xander, why don't you give us a little background on Atlantis? Let's give it a little background info.
What I know, I'm not too deep on what Atlantis did before Egypt. I just know a lot about, as much as I can, through Plato's tellings, because that's really the main and only source I know of on Atlantis. And Disney, of course, great one. But is that they were a great civilization, far ahead of their time, technology, building pyramids like you see in Egypt, and then a great cataclysm happened. The Great Flood happened and buried their civilization underwater, and a few of them survived and came and taught many of their technology to Egypt. And the only date that Plato really gives us is 11,600 years ago. And that's exactly when the meltwater bee happened, as part of the last part of the 100 years of the Great Flood. So those dates actually do coincide, and Plato rarely ever wrote history, but I think this time he did.
Alrighty, so there's Atlantis is it's a complicated subject, right? Because there's so many different ideas of what it is and it isn't. Some people are saying Atlantis doesn't exist. That's what I believe. Majority of people don't believe that Atlantis was a real place. Now,
yeah.
I believe the way that 99% of people look at or examine the term Atlantis, they're all wrong. Of course, I'm in the 1% of the people that look at it right. Who really knows? But I think throughout history, there's been a ton of sunken cities. So what people describe as Atlantis is just a branch term that many cultures ascribe to the sunken cities that they knew. And I think all the lore about cities that have gotten sunk over time just merged into a common lore of one place.
And throughout time, many and most successful cities were on the coast and shorelines,
exactly.
Which are constantly changing and receding due to flooding and things of that nature.
Exactly. So I think it's strange for us to assume Atlantis, or it's not strange, so to say, but I think it's a little inaccurate because it could have been a whole bunch of fucking places. I know off the coast of India, there's another sunken city that's, India, those weirdos have their own culture, who, I don't know who has their own culture. There's only one culture, and that's American culture. Anyways, so, yeah, they have their own Atlantis, where they do whatever Atlantis would do, but in India, they were really good at computer science. Okay, I'm stereotyping. They were not good at computer science. Oh, they could have been. I don't know. Okay, I got myself. We're gonna stop talking about India and Atlantis for a second. We'll come right back to it. Anyways, Atlantis. Could have been many different things. Now, there are references in different ancient sites talking about a being of some sort coming from a fallen, forgotten civilization, bringing technology. Maybe Xander can expand a little bit on that, like Thoth and all of them.
Yeah, I know more about the Anunnaki and that side of the
okay, so we'll get into the Anunnaki a little later. This would be a good time to bring in I can't think of a cool intro because this guy's not cool, but we'll have T-Dog. Oh no, we already have someone T-Dog. T-Boner. He's coming in strong. T-Boner. Tay-Tay, a.k.a. Mage Duretti. Magus Duretti?
Magus is cool.
Magus or Mage?
Magus is mage and
He's our resident. You've heard of sex magic, but he's not introducing our resident hentai magician. It's a very specific kind of sex magic he specializes in. If you're curious about it, send letters to Jeremy. Email Jeremy Rascal. Okay. Anyways, Magus Duretti is going to talk a little bit about Thoth. Come over here and introduce him. Let's give a round of applause. Magus Duretti. I'll give him my mic. I'll give him mine for right now. Well, I'm totally not going to go and roll a doobie. Yeah, I said I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm going to the bathroom. Why would people even think I'm doing something else? Anyways, Magus Duretti, give us a little bit about Thoth.
Oh, do I get both? Yeah. Which one do I talk into? Oh. I'll slide over. Oh, you'll slide over? Okay.
Hi, guys. Here we go. Thoth. I want to learn about Thoth. I'm excited. Taylor, I'm Xander. We've met before, but this looks fun. Times. I like handshaking on screen, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We usually kick it in the back by the light setup.
Yes, that's right.
At the events, don't we?
Liquid lights or digital feedback, depending on what
we'll drink
DJ Logos wants to do.
Yeah. DJ Logos. Oh, who's our 10? Do I know any of them?
Shout out to Dad, David Greenwald.
10 what viewers. David Marriott, heir to the Marriott fortune. Okay, hold on. You know what? We need to do a PR break here for a second. No, fuck. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah.
Tell me about Thoth.
Thoth. The dude. So where do we even start with this? So from the studies that I have done, oh, that's bright. In every ancient culture, not every ancient, but in every culture, there is some teacher, some dude that pops up that seems to be very similar to all these other cultures, archetype of this guy. So like the first one that we can kind of look at is with the Greeks and the Greeks, where we have Hermes Trismegistus, right? So his
I like Hermes. I'm a big fan of his staff.
Dude, he's the homie. So you have to look at like what this character's archetype is, right? So Hermes is known as the messenger, right? Between gods and man. If you look at like what planet is represented by him, you have the planet Mercury, right? Another way to look at Hermes is that he is a archetypal expression of the mind, right?
Yeah.
And so the mind is something that you can't touch, you can't feel it, but you know it's there because you experience it, right?
Absolutely.
And so it is that intermediary bridge between the unconscious and the conscious, being connected to both. But to go into like the actual history of him, so he was called Hermes Trismegistus, which means 3 times great. And 3 times great is because this individual had mastered. He had mastery over the mind, the body, and also the soul. And so with these 3 faculties, you can travel like the physical plane, you can work in the astral and then some of the higher realms. But he was always someone, no matter what he kind of like, what form he took, whether it was Thoth or whether it was Mercury or Hermes, this individual always gave a system of writing, a system of science, some type of like religious or kind of like magical system.
A myth.
Well, I'm sorry?
A myth, a way to encode the knowledge and story.
Yeah. So we'll. Oh, back to ancient Egypt. Oh, is that what we're connecting to? Okay, cool. So Thoth, I guess, would really kind of be one of the first forms. So he was this individual that people revered as like the great teacher. According to legend, Thoth gave the Egyptians their system of writing, their language, their sciences, and then he was also kind of the head of their priest class.
So he was an Egyptian god? Or
So he was.
Well, I mean, we've talked about he's all these different forms,
right?
But
yeah, so he was later deified as the god Thoth. So like we look at Thoth and we think about like all these different things he represents, but I kind of see him as the closest like embodiment of like the human, of like the divine human, or like the divinity within humans, because he was both man but not man. He was this kind of evolved, enlightened individual, I guess you would say. If you want to look more at like the Hermes character, there is in the Tree of Life these spheres that emanate from Kether, from the crown. And there's 4 of them, and they all kind of intersect with each other. And this first sphere, once it is built, or once the individual becomes aware of it and learns how to work with it, gives them access to the astral plane and beyond. And then that second sphere, right? So it's. You want to say something?
No.
Now my mic is working.
Keep going.
Yeah. Well, essentially. Reason why we brought up Thoth is because of the connection that ancient Egypt has with this messenger kind of deity. I think the Aztecs, or was it the Mayans, had Quetzalcoatl, which was relatively the same thing.
So same with if you look at Shiva, you look at like the Shiva, like the man was one of the original yogis. He gave them that system of Vedic, a Vedic path, I guess, to enlightenment or realization. But then he was later.
That's a common, I guess, theme that we see throughout societies, whatnot. It makes sense for people to try and connect all of them together and try to create a common thread. So whether or not, let's get a common consensus. Did Atlantis exist? Yes or no? And then quick brief summary about your opinion.
I think Atlantis existed. I'll take the point that we have no, for debate's sake, that they had nothing to do with aliens, if we want to get into that.
Okay. We're definitely going to get into some aliens.
That'll be fun. And then that Atlantis was the progenitor civilization to Egypt, that they were wiped out in the Great Flood that we know happened, and that a few of them survived and taught Egypt how to build pyramids.
Okay. I don't know if I believe in Atlantis still. I think in the end, I'll say actually I do, because I do believe that we had an ancient society that existed on this planet before us. More on that. Let's just get Taylor's quick opinion on the subject.
Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my understanding of Atlantis is it was actually a real place. We're looking at back when, what was
get that mic.
What was the original, like the single lean in? Okay. Hey, boo.
Well, I'm about to kick him off in a second, so.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you look.
I have another question for Taylor after this.
Oh, you do? Cool. So you look at when all the continents on Earth were one continent, right? What was it called? Pangea? Pangea was the name of it, right? So from what I understand, which kind of makes the most sense to me, is that this was actually a real city, like as those continents were starting to kind of shift, not to where it was anything like super noticeable, but as they began to disperse, and it was more likely that it was around the Mediterranean kind of area at like on North Africa, and that this was like a real city, and it was kind of like the staple for that time's, I guess you would say, like spiritual system, and it was a city where everyone was involved in this kind of like priest class, and everyone was essentially living their lives in order to attain a soul or become, I guess, enlightened and live with the gods.
Jeez, sounds like you were there, bro.
Right.
Anyways, so Tim had a question.
So yes, I think it's a real place. I think it was over there. I think there was something that happened with the continents that caused that area to depress, and I think that what you get in Egypt and all the cultures is essentially the remnants of Atlantis's kind of like lineage.
Okay, so he doesn't believe in Atlantis. Moving on.
I don't think people were alive.
Moving on.
I have something that's actually really important.
Okay, well, too bad you're not the host. Tim, what was your question for him? Okay, actually say it.
Okay.
It's something really important. It's for the revolution.
Yeah.
Take note, guys.
So
if this doesn't have great personal relevance to your life, take to the streets tonight. Take to the streets. Send some hate mail to Jeremy Rascal.
JEREMY. Fired. So in the Toltec tradition, they claim to have like that their knowledge, their system actually comes from Atlantis itself, and that it was spread out during this kind of like cataclysmic time, that some of the priests actually went to what is now South America and extended
Ecuador?
El Salvador.
Lake Titicaca?
El Salvador is actually where I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that's something for another time.
A lot of it is connected. I don't think you can really mention ancient civilizations without talking about the cataclysm. There was like 100-year period of just destruction and flooding and mud raining from the skies.
So, what I kind of think happened is that during that time, the leaders of these systems, of these technologies, these histories, they saw what was happening around the world or in their area, and they designated essentially carriers of this information and sent them out and spread them out to all corners of the world so that the information was never lost, and that the Dharma, the teachings, were preserved.
You can actually find these teachings if you Google Pootie Tang. Watch Pootie Tang. It's a lot of ancient Atlantean wisdom.
It will awaken your spirit.
Condensed into a 2-hour film.
Or watch Lion World.
You can also go to under Hentai Duretti's suggestion lemonparty.com. Or is it dollar? Yeah, I think
How
that was
did I
it,
know
yeah.
you were going to say that?
All right, so we have a question.
Okay, we had a question from the audience. We had a caller. It was a cute girl, a Brazilian model.
It's a bit of a different topic, so there's more rebuttals. But so
It's a deep voice, but trust me, this is a Brazilian model asking this question. Go on, babe.
how did the ceremony on New Year's go, Taylor?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
New Year's.
That story a little bit.
Yeah, so I can tell that for sure. So I belong to a school that studies different like esoteric lineages and systems. And one of the amazing
Scientology.
women, yeah, right. One of the amazing women in our school does this thing every year where she makes a kind of like a candy Christmas basket, but she includes these handmade ornaments and a little grimoire to go with it. For the muggles out there, a grimoire is a spell book or a magic book that contains whatever. And so she includes this little grimoire with it and the instructions for how to create a servitor. And a servitor is a individual, essentially being or entity that is created out of the thought forms or the unconscious of the individual that is imbuing purpose or life or intention into this thing. And so another something that could be more familiar with people is like elementals. And these are entities that live on the etheric and astral plane. They're also called like nature spirits. So you see them in different.
Getting derailed.
Okay.
Let's go.
So these like little entities that essentially like they live to serve you and your intent, and they are fed or powered through like offerings to them. It could be like incense, flame, wine, alcohol, whatever. But they live off of this intent that you're imbuing into it. And so she gave the theme for this year was a little Christmas witch, and so it was like this little ornament of like a really fun-looking witch and a little grimoire, and so the spell or part of the whole like little imbuing of this was to go out under the moon and repeat this like little poem and then whisper the name of this elemental. And breathe life into it, and through that symbolic act, you are essentially creating life in the mental plane that then has this connection to you, and so you can have it like find things for you. You can give it tasks. It can be like
Sneak into the girls' locker room.
They're really cool. So like she gave one to me last year, and this was like a little gnome creature. His name was Thanor, and Thanor means shield in elf language. I just have to laugh at like.
I'm taking Can you zoom in on my face right now?
Humor is essential to all things.
You know, it's like you have to kind of take this, like, you can't take it too seriously, but have fun with it.
Cue a kooky sound effect.
I think something funny is that, like, we think these things to be magical, they have to be like Pinocchio. Like, it has to like come alive and like do all the like nose grows, like, but like it can still be
absolutely,
magical.
absolutely.
So here's
go on.
the trippy thing, right?
So go on about his night. By the way, he's talking. For those that don't know, he's talking about a night he had. We haven't gotten to that yet.
Right. So I want to give you like a little context going into it. So
which is important.
Last year, like when I first started studying like any of this stuff, she gave it to me, and so I did like a little ritual for this gnome thing, and then like weeks later, I find myself in the dreaming, and there is this creature that pops out from behind a wall, and it's the gnome. It's like literally the gnome.
Google Ugandan knuckles. It's an actual picture.
So in the dream, the gnome, Thanor, actually popped out and had a full-on conversation with me, and he's like, yeah, like, what you did, it worked. I'm, like, your homie now, and I'll protect you and whatever you need me to do. And
Wow.
so,
That's pretty rad.
So it's like you got to actually talk to it in the dream. And so I talk to him sometimes. He'll appear randomly whenever I do any kind of like practices or work in my room. I'll ask him to stand guard, and he'll just kind of like kick it there. And so. Actually, so here's the thing. It was on New Year's Eve, and so I had the one to do for the witch this year.
It was a full moon.
It was
Noise
a full
Revolt
moon.
threw a wonderful party with Moon Tribe and Terra Chroma.
Right, and so that was like my first Moon Tribe, right?
You guys should go to that party a month ago, or was it 2 weeks
Back
ago?
in
But if you
time.
guys can go right now.
Just wait for Noise Revolt's Time Machine to drop in 2019.
We're dropping a time machine.
Pre-selling tickets for $9.99. That is $9.
Noise Revolt 3030 coming next week.
We can go back in time and
Anyways,
stop ourselves.
okay, so
And so I was like, all right, perfect. It's a full moon now. I'm here in the desert with some good people, and it was it's pretty magical night. I was really feeling that night.
lots of magic.
Lots of staring into the fire. And so I go out there a little bit away from everyone. I have the little grimoire, and I have like the little witch, and I'm about to do it, and then this little voice is like, nope, it's not the right time. So I was like, wait, really? I was like, are you sure? Like, it's New Year's, like, got everything going on. It's like, nah, it's not the right time, man. So I go back, and I realized why it wasn't the right time was that when I had taken the ornament out, there was something that had broken off the bottom of the ornament and was still in the backpack. And so I go, and I'm like, oh, damn, like, it got messed up. Like, all right, so now I know why I couldn't do it that night. It's because it wasn't complete, it wasn't whole. So it would have, like, been a imbalanced kind of invoke, or, like, combining, like, merging operation. So... Anyways, maybe next time.
Talking to the mic next time.
Maybe
next time you can talk into the mic, bruh.
Maybe next
that
time I'll have
thing.
some more updates for you because I'm gonna be.
Next time we will have Taylor over again to talk about elemental magic, some tips, some tricks. You don't want to, you want to train your elemental nicely. When it grows up, you'll have well disciplined. You want to, make sure it doesn't pee in the living room. It's just the typical
Or scare your
problems.
girlfriend
Or
or
scare your
boyfriend.
girlfriend. Or, just haunt your neighbors. Well,
Make sure
unless it's that one neighbor that's playing rap music at night. That's, he got work the next day and he keeps playing the hippity hops. Maybe you could stick the elemental on him. I won't tell anyone.
If you're interested, there's a really good resource out there. It's called Servitor. It's a book called Servitor's Magic's Servants or something like that, I think is the name.
Servitor Magic Servants. And with that said,
Austin Osman Spare is the
let's
author.
give our buddy Grand Magus Hentai Mage Duretti
Hey,
Steez.
did we get what was the question?
How was your night? You did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
about that. Got it. I'm
Skedaddle. You're out of here, bro.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All
I really
right.
appreciate it. It was really
Let's.
cool.
Nice.
great
We got some
having you.
All right.
On Seraj's show.
All right. Okay. You wanna switch back
that
on
chair's
this side?
way better.
Okay. Okay. So, wow, we've covered a lot of bases. We're gonna cover one more base. That's space, man. Aliens. We've talked about them before. We're gonna talk about them again.
I want to believe.
So, I am under the impression. Now, in terms of, since the major theme was ancient civilizations today, did aliens build these things? That's what I used to think. Now I'm more in the line of there was just a race of humans, I guess, or just something else that lived on this planet before us that they look like humans because all the statues in ancient Egypt are human-ish. So whatever those things were, something like that lived on the planet and built all these crazy things. I used to think it was aliens. That being said, I still believe aliens. I still believe they come here all the time. I know too many people that see UFOs and stuff like that. Xander, do you think aliens come and watch, the hills?
I'm still up in the air on that one. I want to believe. I don't know how much tech they've given us directly. I definitely think they can come through experiences like DMT, though. I think that takes us
I'm so glad he brought that up, because that is exactly what I was going to talk about. Anyways, go on, Xander. Take it away.
I think that there's certain chemical compounds like DMT that can allow beings from all over the universe to kind of habitate a common ground with their consciousness. And in DMT, the spirit molecule, they talk about 6 different volunteers who all did the drug that is naturally occurring in the human body and thousands of plants and most life. These 6 volunteers, different backgrounds, experiences. They all had completely different lives. They had never met each other before the experiment, and they all had the same
different backgrounds, different experiences, different. Not all of them, but a bunch of them had different native tongues. So that's important. They spoke different. They were raised speaking different languages, different ages. So these people are from as different
spirit molecule.
They're coming from as different walks of life as possible. Go on.
And they all reported part of the experience that they met these beings that said, "Oh, we're so happy you discovered this technology. You can talk to us now better. We can communicate with you so much better now." And I thought that was pretty mind-blowing, that these people who had never met each other, completely different walks of life, all had the exact same experience on this drug. And we're pretty certain that our brain excretes massive amounts of this when we die.
So, that's an important subject to explore. When people think of technology, they always think of external things. People haven't come to think of the manipulation of consciousness as technology. People don't know the parameters of it. They don't know where it comes from. But we could talk about KRS-One. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a good one. So people don't know the parameters of what consciousness is, but that's not to say if there weren't other intelligent life, they haven't found a more significant way to use and manipulate it. I think it could be that DMT is technology, nature's technology, if anything, but technology nonetheless that we can use to...
and all technology is a manipulation of nature.
It is a manipulation of nature, and if you want to take it deeper, that's a manipulation of consciousness, you know? You are the guy that makes the grass green, baby, you know? It's all in you. Yeah, exactly. Who is the great wizard that makes the grass green? That's like a Zen cone that I gave the answer to or something. Or Zen cones don't have answers?
They don't.
I don't fucking know.
Where can you go from the top of a 100-foot pole?
Turtles all the way down.
Ninja Turtles. Taylor, you are supposed to get the fuck out of here now. Get going, bro. He's here drawing hentai, and it's super good, and it's really distracting.
Surprisingly good.
It's surprisingly good. He's drawing that hot bunny from Zootopia. Jeez Louise. Yeah, dude, Devilman's an old anime, bro. It goes back. Taylor, get the fuck out of here. Okay. Anyways, aliens. DMT consciousness.
More efficient way to travel.
Yeah, it could be a way to travel instantaneously. I will end this with a little We're chilling. We're chilling. Well, I mean, I thought a good end. I mean, what's the time? How long has it been? Yeah, we've been going since.
Well, what are we? We're gonna just be shooting the shit anyways. Might as well do it live.
Okay, yeah, well, whatever. Okay, so yeah, okay, all right, yeah, whatever, dude. I had a good ending point. You know what? I'm gonna end it with a cool exercise. It was a good segue into this meditation exercise.
Everything after the ending is an encore.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, it was encore. Yeah, you were spoiled. Exactly. You're getting the VIP treatment. our subscribers to this non-existent channel. You guys are getting the VIP treatment. We have Hentai Duretti gonna draw. First 3 people to send in self-portraits, send in pictures, get a self-portrait drawn by Taylor Duretti in anime style. So the lucky first 3 people. We have an actual phone. Oh, no.
He has like a Google number.
No way. Okay. Yeah, let's...
The best production man of all time.
Why not?
Tim has
a
Google Voice line set up for us.
Well, guys, if you want to call us, you can. Doesn't mean I'll pick up because we're busy talking about Atlantis. And hentai.
Dude, what do you think of Gobekli Tepe?
What?
Oh, you had a point you wanted to make the ending.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. We'll get to that later.
A lot of things.
We'll get to that later.
Gobekli Tepe.
So, that's a cool
I think
place.
it's linked to Atlantis, and because it's like in the north of the Mediterranean, I think they're linked to Egypt too.
Okay, explain what I can't ever say the name for shit.
Gobekli Tepe.
Go on.
Is another ancient site that one of the crazier ones because they were a civilization that were obsessed with astronomy, like most of these powerful ancient civilizations, and they knew that the Great Flood was coming, and they actually buried their entire civilization in sand. We're pretty sure that it was a work to save it because they knew that the only way to save it from the Great Flood was to bury it. And it was discovered in like 1987 was the most recent discovery of it, and it started to unbury itself. And most of these sites, only 2%, like Gobekli Tepe and all of these ancient sites, about 2% of them are uncovered. So it's pretty hard to make people want to make assessments like, we know the whole site, we understand everything from a very small portion. And one of the biggest stones at Gobekli Tepe is 50 tons. So kind of wrap your head, that's a huge stone to get people to move that. And the mainstream archaeology wants us to believe that these were just hunter-gatherers.
Mainstream? More like lamestream.
Boom!
Right? Give me some jazz chords, baby. Nice.
A lot of these findings were in the last 20 years, so I guess I can give them some slack. I don't know.
Nah. Give them some crack, because that's what they sound like. It's just a unit of time, bro. Okay.
Time is a flat circle.
No, I can't tell that story, man. It's not really.
Sign up for the time machine, dropping 2,000.
Taylor, your segment fucking ended, bruh.
It never ends.
That's true.
You just keep going.
Okay.
I like that idea.
We're gonna. Oh, I got some cool stuff to talk about.
What up?
VR, guys.
Ooh, that's another way.
So VR, we're gonna see very soon. VR technology is going to be widely implemented. We were already seeing the beginning of that. PlayStation has a VR system, but there isn't really anything set up right now. It's like
the Doom game.
Yeah, so Doom came out. Right now, VR is essentially like the first year PlayStation 2 came out. I don't know if you guys remember, but the first year PlayStation 2 came out, you had like this awesome machine, but there wasn't really anything to do with it, But you could kind of see where it was going, So we're in this new phase where virtual reality is being implemented, and I gotta say, I put on a system very recently, and knowing how early it is in the technology, I was blown away by how beautiful it was and how much I wanted to stay in that world. And it's so early on, so it's gonna be really interesting when that's more widely spread. But closer to that is we can start really seeing how cue the Matrix techno shit, because we could be living in a simulation, man. You wouldn't even fucking know. Are we living in a simulation, Xander?
Math says we are.
Math says we're living in a simulation.
The odds are, right? If there was a simulation created at some point, then the odds are that there would be way more simulations than there would be Universe 1. So 99% chance you're in a simulation and not in Universe 1.
Okay, so that could also connect with the DMT experience. You know, you use this chemical to peel back one layer of reality, and you are put into this more often considered real reality, or another layer to reality.
Maybe less structured.
Here's a thought I used to think about. Less density. A thought
Oh, you skipped the KRS
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get to that.
We're shooting the shit.
And before Taylor interrupted me, I was gonna say something. Yeah. Okay. So these different realities, they don't have to. It's not that much of a stretch to think that we could live in two separate realities at once. And here's how I'll describe that. And maybe you guys can wrap your head around it like this. But like, when we are watching TV, what the TV gets from like the satellite, it's being sent in one form and being translated into this reality, into this as another form. It's being sent as waves, and it gets translated into a completely different form for us to enjoy in the parameters of this visible reality. But it exists in those two different forms at once. We could be doing the same thing, and through manipulation of consciousness, tap into various aspects of that. You know, it's the same thing people have been saying for years, since people in the Western culture have been saying it since the '60s. But I mean, you go back to the Indians.
Sorry, my signet's done.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesus
Christ.
You can bring it back to Plato. They had their
the cave. The cave. Yeah. Okay, give him a mic for a second.
We got 3 mics.
No, he has another good way to explain how we could be in two different realities.
So think about it like this. When you are dreaming, your body is still existing. Yes? Yes, do we agree? Yes. Right? Cool.
I think so.
But your awareness, your focus, your focal point of awareness is not in the physical. It has shifted to the unconscious or the subconscious. So when you find yourself in the dreaming, that is a layer, a space of the astral plane. So you are existing there, right? But you're also still able to do that because your physical body is hosting the nervous system, which is allowing the conscious mind to exist. So you're getting sensory input, right, from your awareness in the dreaming, which is then translated into the body, right? So have you ever like woken up like yelling, screaming, your body just kind of doing weird stuff?
I used to tell my girlfriend if she pissed me off in the dream, like, just give me an hour. Like, I'm going to just be a dick. Like, just give me an hour.
Right. So it's that information that you receive in the dreaming comes back with you into this physical world, right? So something that my teacher says and that our tradition believes in practices is that you are existing in the dreaming and in the physical at the same time, and being able to build a bridge to where you can access the dreaming at will and operate and do things in the dreaming, but also be in the physical reality is like one of the first stages to be able to access these higher planes of consciousness at will. And it is said that the first step to building wholeness is building that bridge between the dreaming and the waking worlds at the both time, because then you're not cut off from yourself. You are beginning a foundation of wholeness.
You mentioned the Toltec teaching.
Little Carl Jung in the house.
Yeah, that too. And he mentioned
to be your rap alias, bro.
Mentioned the Toltec teachings earlier. Toltec wisdom. Don Miguel Ruiz.
Piss off.
Talks about how that in the dream world there's many less structures. That the waking world is still a dream, but there's just much more like physics and things to put reality on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So
don't put reality on a pedestal, yo.
Don't do it, man. Sit in your heart cave and watch the show unfold.
Yeah. So, we're talking about hearts. Heart chakras are lame. Yeah. Ooh, nice jazzy tones. Ooh, I feel like I'm in the future.
Mixmaster Wizard on
sensory deprivation tanks, guys.
Oh, hell yes.
Sensory deprivation tanks.
So, my dad actually
What's up with that?
With John Lilly. That's
John C. Lilly. Who is John C. Lilly? Does anyone know? I do, so I'm going to tell you.
Please do.
John C. Lilly was a scientist, doing his thing, 1960s through 80s, maybe. I think he died in the 90s. Not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, he is the guy most known for the creation of sensory deprivation tanks. He is also known for taking LSD with dolphins and doing research with dolphins and LSD. Government-funded research with LSD and dolphins. And
just one thing I want to point out real quick is that most people just know about, if they know anything about John Lilly, they just know about the sensory deprivation tanks. They have no idea that he was trying to use them to communicate with dolphins, aliens, and he was doing copious amounts of ketamine and LSD.
He was doing all of these things, and here's the thing. His research all yielded pretty positive results. The government didn't tell him to stop. He could keep, they were like down with what he was learning. They never told him to like stop. Why? There's a couple of reasons why the dolphin research stopped. The most publicized reason is because one of the researchers developed a relationship with a dolphin, but that wasn't actually why the research stopped. The research actually stopped because John C. Lilly came to the conclusion that dolphins were too smart to be kept in captivity. So that's why he stopped that stuff. It makes sense because,
water people.
Yeah, exactly. They've been around. Like, people always think if ancient aliens came to Earth, they'd be talking to humans. Dude, dolphins have been smarter way longer than humans have. I'd be fucking talking to dolphins.
How far away can they communicate? I kind of want to look that up, but I know they have pretty long-range communication just because of the way sound travels in water.
They get high on blowfish or pufferfish.
Figure that out. That's dope.
They get high on pufferfish, bro. They get psychedelic trips on it. They are smart creatures. They go to Grateful Dead concerts.
Orcas have delicacies, dialects, and tribes.
Yeah, and they also have Free Willy.
What's an orca delicacy?
Certain tribe prefers a stingray as a delicacy, but they only hunt it as a group, and it has to be like a team hunt. One orca has to flip it over and hold it down, while another orca bites off the stinger, and then they can eat it safely. And they only do it. It's only a certain tribe of orcas, and I think it's only a certain time of year. I'm not 100% sure on that.
What archetypal gods do the different tribes look towards?
I know that the Antarctic orcas worship Zeus. That's all I know.
Yeah, Free Willy. I don't know if he's Free Willy. So John Lilly and Free Willy. So John Lilly decided he was gonna, make these things called deprivation tanks. Said, now mind you, he's often credited as, I don't know if this is true, but he's credited as the first, I would say he's probably one of the first scientists to start looking at the human brain and compare it to a computer and make the actual comparisons. And he wrote this book, Programming and Reprogramming the Human Biocomputer, a long time ago. So he was a very smart dude on top of a lot of things. And he was one of the few scientists that was allowed to conduct research on psychedelic drugs. And he was talking about having tremendous results with communication with extra-dimensional beings, if you will. There was a movie called Altered States made about him, or indirectly about him. There's a video game called Echo the Dolphin, which was for Sega Genesis, I believe, which was
great game.
A loose homage to John C. Lilly's research. I think Echo was the name of the intelligence he was communicating with, and the bad guy in the game is this alien intelligence that John C. Lilly was also in contact with. And John C. Lilly was doing research with dolphins.
Right,
that's why I echoed the dolphin. So it was like loosely about like his, that's a fun fact.
We want to think that all these alien consciousnesses are, if we believe in them, we want to think that they're all benign and benevolent. We don't want to, a lot of people at least don't want to worry or think about the dark ones.
Let's hear a thought. Get on the mic.
So, people have reported...
Eat that shit.
People have reported seeing or communicating with, like, aliens and beings on DMT, right?
Yeah.
So...
Almost universally, right?
Here's a thought. What if those beings or entities are just, like, consciousnesses of animals and plants that are already here in like our physical reality, and like
that's amazing.
They have this this awareness, this intelligence that is a higher layer of their own consciousness that exists in this DMT world. So, next time someone does DMT and they talk to aliens, just know that could
be your dog.
That could be your dog or the dolphin in SeaWorld reaching out for help. It could be.
People like to hang out in the astral plane. It's it's a interdimensional VR chat room.
Right, and if DMT is in most living things, then it probably links us all.
Yeah. What if that cell or that molecule is like the link that connects everyone to this this aspect or this space of a dimension?
I think that would be totally possible, and we don't like. There's some resistance to the idea that it could be reduced to a chemical.
Yeah.
It's like we figured out like a chemical gateway to the soul. Now the soul is no longer magic. Wait, what? Just because there's a chemical key doesn't change anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you think about it, like molecules are essentially like building blocks.
Yeah, it's lock and key system,
things, right? Yeah. So what if like that is the physical manifestation of that like space or dimension, which is essentially a building block to either like physical reality or a intangible dimension,
and at least a consciousness for sure.
Yeah, it's a space of consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, people often describe a DMT experience they've had coming to some sort of nexus, a meeting point for all sorts of intelligence. So it could be. If you want to go to a nexus of all sorts, shut the fuck up. If you want to go to a nexus of all sorts of international, intergalactic activity, I highly recommend prepping up for our Noise Revolt party that will be coming up in February. You can also meet up with all sorts of intergalactic aliens and monsters at our new weekly loop. I went just yesterday, and my God, I met like a Jesta being that was playing strange sounds and looked like a fractal, and it was hanging out on stage. I tripped down some devoid, and I entered it, man.
And you found Space Jesus.
So with that being said, we're gonna end this little live stream with a meditation exercise. Now this could be a way of one would say maybe communicating with extra-dimensional intelligence, if you want to take it that way. Some say it's a way of training your future self to interact with you and guide your way. And if not, at the base pattern, it's a way of recognizing patterns in your life and finding an effective way of identifying them and changing them. So, this rapper KRS-One, I highly recommend watching his video lectures. He's a very famous rapper, often credited as one of the creators of hip-hop. Though I don't think he calls himself that, he does call himself, a godfather of it all. And, he's put his credit in he's got his credit. He's done his work. A lot of people know him for his rap career. I actually am a fan because of his video lectures. In one of his lectures, he talks about this one exercise that draws parallels to Aleister Crowley's exercises with the Holy Guardian Angel. What he says is to spend every day and spend 20 minutes thinking about past experiences of your life where you fucked up, and make a mental image of that and try to change it, like right there. Like, see the scenario and try and change it. Try and tell yourself in the past, give yourself advice on how to change it, and do that during meditation every day, and do that. Now, as I said, on a basic level...
Just to help myself understand, maybe live out the scenario once as it went in the past, and then live it out a second time. We're trying to physically change it
change it, whether that means giving yourself advice in the moment or just imagining a whole different scenario, how it played out.
I like that.
And do that every day. Now, on a base level, that will teach you to recognize parts of your life where you fucked up, where you've fucked up and you've done the wrong thing or whatever. And you'll see how you do that over and over, and then when it actually happens in real life, you'll think about all those times in a subconscious way, and you'll know how to avoid those situations. Now, if you take it to a more esoteric dimension, you could be literally training your future self, since you're doing this exercise every day, to come and subconsciously guide your present self. Assuming you habitually do this for a couple of years, that means if you start doing it, your future self is doing it, and your future self is sending a mental projection of himself into the past to help you. So that's that's a little esoteric meditation. Cue a funny radio sound. Anyways, so that's a cool thing. I hope you guys party with us. I'm actually
going to start doing that.
It's a cool thing. Come party with us, Loop. We're going to be throwing a party February. A lot of cool DJs, a lot of cool music. We're going to have Hulk Hogan at our next party. Tila Tequila is coming.
Check out that track, Hulk Hogan.
In my dreams, actually, I'm going to be crying into a pillow tonight and looking up conspiracies online. This is your host, Seraj. And this has been the State of the Revolt.
Play some outro music.
Oh, yeah, outro music. Oh, yeah, we're going to play a couple of tunes. Feel free to kick it with us and lounge.
Maybe talk a little more shit, unless we're turning off the live stream. I don't know. Depends. Start the podcast career now.
You can't shut me down. You turn me off and I can't touch the ground. But I'm so perfect. You can't shut me down. 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 You turn me off and I can't touch the ground. But I'm so perfect. You can't shut me down. You can't shut me down. You can't shut me down. You can't shut me down.
Probably you're missing me, but I can see.
Big up Seraj. Big up Taylor Duretti. Big up Xander Greenwald. Big up Noise Revolt Master.
Big up DJ Tim L in the production mix. That Aleister Crowley meditation is breaking my mind just because of that future loop. I'm blown away. And Another trippy thing he did was pretending on one day to be the most conservative person he could be, and then going on the spectrum to the most liberal person he could be each day, so he could find the true self. So he could find the true self.
Official sponsor for tonight is Dark Chocolate Lovers. Smooth and fruity. It's really good, 85% cacao. $2.99. Great buy.
We'll preview some new beats in a second. Some new beats coming from Noise Revolt. Stay tuned. Incoming heat. Have a fire extinguisher ready.
It's the aux cable. You know how janky those aux cables get. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Alright, incoming beat in a second. This song is Don't Fade by Jay Gray. Pretty cool tune. Alright. Incoming. We need to think of like a cool like button to press that'll be in effect every time we play a new Noise Revolt song. You know, like no, Noise Revolt or some shit like that. But way cooler. Not that. Okay, whatever, Tim. Here we go. Stop. Oh. Wait, why won't Ableton?
Technical difficulties.
Oh. God, technical difficulties.
Time for a chip break.
Dude, Ableton just straight doesn't work. That's Tim. Tim, cut it out for a second.
That was good.
No, oh my god.
That good.
That was kind of funny. This chord has seen better days, dude. I think it's done.
No, it's not done. You're just giving up on it.
Alright.
Please play something normalcy.
Here. That it was working there, but not on Ableton. Here. Yeah. Alright. Incoming. Noise. It'll be like, no. Okay, maybe give us a little riff. and then we'll play. All right, original beats being cooking up right now.
Big up Chester.
And me.
Big up Cyberbully. Forthcoming Noise Revolt Records release. Chief Jester, Cyberbully. Untitled IDID.
on Noise Revolt Records. Hot fire coming through. Next up, I'm gonna play an original by yours truly. Kind of lo-fi, retro sound.
Cyberboy, live in the mix.
Cool. That sucked. Anyways, next is this dubstep song that I'm making.
Half-mast.
A little preview of this dubstep song, all original. Dubstep by me. Do you like my dubstep song? Alright, that was the dubstep song I was working on. I could, maybe... Oh, okay. Yeah, here's an actual song that started the other day. Little preview.
Can we just play them the Evangelion theme song?
We're gonna play that next.
Thank God.
All right, you know what? A little break from production right now to play this totally rad song.
Everyone needs to hear this at some point in their life.
Slight musical intermission.
I will do an interpretive dance.
More dubstep I'm making. Dubstep. Check it out. Yeah. What you gonna do when I come through? Noise Revolt crew. 1, 2. Smoking on the grill. Where do you go? Ready to rock and ready to roll. Tripping on the LSD. You know me. Seraj T. Ready to rap and ready to rhyme. J-pop on time. J-pop baby.
Listen to how good that Japanese jam band is.
Now this is my dubstep original. Coming on Deep Medi.
Sample the Japanese.
Deep Medi release. Mala, watch out.
Y'all should watch Evangelion. It'll blow your minds.
That's unrelated to this song though, because this is my dubstep song. I don't even know what Evangelion is. Evangelion? Is that how you pronounce it? Yvonne? Is that French? Alright, so another original forthcoming in the next couple of months. Little preview.
Cyberbullying.
In the mix. Radio Noise Revolt.
Let me know if it's shit in the comments. This is going to be a little rough switch up, but you know, it's a preview. It's songs in progress. I just started this shit yesterday, bro. Jamiroquai at Coachella, dude. It's over, dude. That's all I need to hear, baby. Are we talking about Coachella right now? All right, preview over. Let's get into it.
All right.
Brochella.
It's a great festival. Always have a good time.
We've had great times there. I have nothing. Yeah.
Must have gone 9 years or so. It's expensive. I can't really afford it, you know. It's not that worth it.
It's a whole thing.
It is worth it, but you know, it's a lot of money. Could use it for something cooler. But they went out and they booked Jamiroquai.
That's the thing, guys. I went to Coachella almost 9 years in a row, and I decided to not go again until there was someone that came to like just grit me and pull me back in. And when that was dropped, dude, it was game over, dude.
Here's the thing I saw recently, though. Today I saw
San Francisco. You know? Yeah. Okay, so they're going to be playing in San Francisco.
He's not going to do L.A., but if he is going to do L.A.
Listen.
Well, Jamiroquai's playing San Francisco.
He's going to be playing
separately.
San Francisco. That's close enough to L.A. I could go there. But the thing is, why not? My excuse was to go back to Coachella. I was waiting for that one act that would kill it at Coachella that I've been wanting to see, and Jamiroquai is that act. So, and it's from Tim too, I believe.
Same here.
Really it.
And it's for Xander 3.
Space Cowboy,
baby.
it's the return.
I've decorated my room to look like that music video. Like I want, like it's chill, dude. Like, and you know, there's talent. Like the good thing about Coachella is it's like world class music. So you know, if you don't find something you like, you're too much of a snob. You don't know anyone, everyone there. You can just walk around and find someone dope.
They went weird with it this year, though. Like all the good acts are like young hip hop, like clubby hip hop, and like
But do we know
decent dance music.
Do we know all the undercard? Isn't sometimes
I think
you
the
find some
indie
new
music
stuff
is
in the Sahara
lacking.
tent
The
or
indie
something?
music's lacking, right?
There's just not. There's some decent Sahara stuff. Stoked on Avalon Emerson. There's some.
No
good
one.
stuff.
I mean, honestly, and I can't even remember which electronic music they got. Who would I like?
just saw
Who's-
Jameer.
Soulwax is big.
playing.
Ooh, so yeah, you were saying maybe only go Friday.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing, guys.
Exactly.
Coachella is always going to be a fun time if you have a
Yeah.
good attitude. If you're willing to explore stuff and see stuff you haven't been exposed to, it'll be fun. That being said, it's expensive. It's a mission. And there are.
It's
I'm not going to
whack
say
in
better
certain ways.
options. I'm not going to say there's better options, but there are completely different options that will give you as crazy and as an amazing of an experience. That being said, I've never had more fun of experience than I did at the Coachella campgrounds. That shit is so
Are
fucking
you gonna camp
turned
this year,
up, dude.
Are you gonna camp this time?
What?
You're gonna camp this time?
I'm gonna have like a proxy camp
What does
where
that
I'll
mean?
have someone I know camping. I could crash there 1 or 2 nights, and then I'll just stay at a house.
You'll have his delegates.
The thing is, they really. I got to. I don't know if it'll ever be the same because I got to back when the campgrounds were fucking crazy. They started cracking down on it because Sunday night at the campgrounds used to get so fucking turned up that yeah, they started cracking down on that hard. But there was a time going where the real party was Sunday night after the festival. That was what I went to for Coachella too. But I mean, I'd say
Where'd
the
the
campgrounds are
tunes
fun.
come
But
from?
there's other places. There's other cool things. I'm trying to see who at this Coachella lineup. There's no bass music this time around. Kind of lame.
That sucks.
Jamiroquai and then
Jamiroquai and experience.
There's
other
zero
shit.
bass music.
then we're gonna floss in the beer garden and have a nice time.
Oh my
I
god, really?
might just try to sell my band after that.
Jamiroquai.
Give me the
Can you do
fucking
that?
lineup.
If you don't put it on too tight, you can just give it to a man.
I think the weekend will be a fun thing there.
Eminem.
I guess.
It's not that crazy.
Vince
Rez
Staples. That's
Rez
Oh,
is
Portugal.
There's a-
Portugal and
Portu-
Man. They're really one of my favorites.
there's a hype around this
That is
chick
very
Rez.
neat.
She's electronic-y. I don't.
She's
Give,
in
give me some of the
She's
the
cool.
small prints.
Jeez, it's. I don't even know, man.
Just read some of them.
The Blaze is kind of good. He's like a French dance music dude.
What? Barclay Crenshaw is pretty
Yeah.
rad.
He throws it down.
And a lot of these people are playing Coachella sets. People you never even thought would be good sometimes throw it down at Coachella.
Yeah.
I mean, Chromial is fun disco time.
Chromeo's playing. I've seen them
Yeah.
many times at Coachella. Do they
Yeah.
always play Coachella?
No,
I'd say I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that, but
Tyler might be good.
yeah.
Beyonce is playing.
It's a weird lineup, man. It's a little weird. Yeah, Beyonce.
I don't know, guys. It's like
It's
I
mostly
I just have a
Jamiroquai.
good attitude, and I know I'd have fun. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bunch of a perfect circle. That's the Maynard dude, the Tool guy.
Perfect Circles, Maynard Keynes.
I've
too.
seen a perfect circle. I've seen 2 of that guy's bands, and they were both amazing shows. So I have reason to believe a
did
perfect
not-
circle would be a great show.
I did not know Perfect Circle was Maynard Keynes.
Yeah, it's Tool, dude.
Dr. Tool.
Yeah, so that's that.
Respect to music
Coachella.
festivals.
If you guys go, I'll try and be there too. Say what's up.
We
Maybe camp for me, and then you'll be my proxy camp.
we really out
Proxy
here.
camping. Sounds dope to me.
A house sounds nice too. It's just once I
merch.
start doing a house, I know I'm old, and I'm not. I'm young at heart, guys. Let's listen to more tunes. We got. I played the beats I wanted to show of mine, so we feeling. Our homie Asa makes some cool music.
Yeah, what was that? What was that really funny song you were playing earlier?
First one.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it, dude. It's this thing. This channel on YouTube I found where it's just a bunch of soul music. Sometimes they have shitty rappers, but check it out. I'll play the beginning. I already played it once, so I don't want to play it twice. But
No, the one you played way when we were sound testing. It was like really goofy.
Oh.
It was like a comedy song, I feel like.
Oh, Young Piss.
Young Piss in the building. Little Piss. It's your boy, Pretty Little Piss. Hey. I shoot my gun in residential areas. I'll ghost you, dog. I'll take your Betty home, man. You don't know. What you gonna do about it? I'm gonna get a face tattoo before I'm successful. I'm hot fire. Gucci sweater. 5 mil. Cloud glasses, 2 million. Young Piss, Little Piss, dog. Cup of Joe, you're entering your mom. Ice, boy. I do Zans and I drink liquid heroin. Shoot 'em Zans, lean. Shoot 'em Zans, lean. Young Piss. Shoot 'em. Hey. Pull up on a razor and I'll ice your biddy.
Pull up. This is just some really high quality stuff. Should we cut it?
Yeah. All right, guys. You have a wonderful life. I'll see y'all.
Thanks to everyone for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.